Hi guys, welcome to this tutorial for finding direction and distance. So in this task we want to look at two places, Denpasar and Negara. We want to know what is the direction if I was to travel from Denpasar to Negara. Also, what would the bearing be from Denpasar to Negara, and how far would I be travelling if I travelled in a straight line between these two places. We have a map to assist us with this work. This map has a compass rose here to give us an orientation for north, and it also has a scale down here to help us work out what the actual distance would be on the ground. So our first job is to have a look at the direction between these two places. So the first thing I'm going to do is pop a line in between Denpasar and Negara, so we can see exactly what we're working with. And the next step is to pull up our compass rose and consider what direction we would be travelling if we went from Denpasar to Negara. So we can see here on our compass rose we start here at north, and north is a shared point, 360 and 0 degrees. Travel around to east, which is 90, south 180, west, which is 270, and this is now getting into the range that we are moving. This is the from west to north. This is the kind of range that we are moving in towards Negara. So as an estimation, I would say it follows this line here, west, northwest. So I'm going to add that in as our direction of travel. Okay, the next thing we want to look at is our bearing. What bearing are we travelling on between these two places? We'll need our protractor for that. So I'll pull up this on-screen protractor. It has two measurements on it. The first measurement is the distance of the red line. So as I stretch this red line out, the distance goes up. There it is at about 31.7 millimetres. And the second measurement is the degrees. So right now it's sitting on 90 degrees. Now we need to put this crosshair of our protractor, without moving the map, we need to get this crosshair of the protractor on our city that we're starting at, which is Denpasar, city A. And we need to get the 0 of this protractor facing north, pointing to the top of the map, which is north. There we go. So we're starting counting at 0. And as we move around, 360 and 0. So as we move around, we'll see our degrees are going up all the way across to east at 90 degrees. We'll continue round to 180 degrees, which is due south. Travelling on from due south, we'll come up to west at 270 degrees. Okay, going on from 270, we're going to arrive at our line that represents our travel. So once we've matched up with that line, we can see what our bearing is, and right there we have a reading of 295 degrees. So we'll add that in. So now to calculate the distance, we need to have a little look at our scale. Get our ruler down onto the beginning of the scale and measure out. So from the beginning of the scale to the 10, we have about 10 millimetres, and we also have 10 written on the scale there. So I'll pull the ruler away. So here we have 40 km, 40 kilometres, 4 increments along. So we can say that 1 increment along here at the 10 represents 10 kilometres. So 10 millimetres represents 10 kilometres. So let's write that in over here. 10 millimetres represents 10 kilometres. So now we need to measure how far it is on our map between the city that we're starting in, Denpasar, and Negara. And I'm getting a reading there of 77 millimetres. So on the map we can say that it is 77 millimeters, and based on our ratio up here of 10 millimeters representing 10 kilometers, we can say that 77 millimeters represents 77 kilometers.